Florida's top business group, the Council of 100, making direct appeal to New York CEOs. They are warning that under socialist Zohran Mamdani's tax hikes, the city's economic future feels increasingly uncertain. Florida's pitch, pretty simple: no income taxes, supercharged growth. As New York City veers hard left, Florida rolling out that red carpet. Red, not blue, Jonathan, because you know what you're getting when you go to Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really worried about New York, I have to tell you, and I've been coming here since I was a kid. New York could easily become, I'm not scaremongering, it could become the next Detroit. No, dislove against Detroit, but Detroit went bankrupt.
I remember that.
Right, I mean, this was a big story, and it's ideas that move a culture, it's ideas that move cities, and democratic socialism is socialism. You can't put lipstick on the pig, if you will. So I'm extremely worried. I mean, money goes where it's treated best. I saw that in my own time of Chicago. Ken Griffin, very successful hedge fund magnate, said, I'm through with this. We have a quasi-socialist mayor. He debunked for Florida. So they're going to go to Florida, they're going to go to Texas, and they're going to go away from these heavily blue concentrated cities.
Dagan, it was interesting. Jonathan just said democratic socialist is socialism. And I was reading an opinion, I forget where, it was last week, that they're just putting Democrat in front of socialist to ice it down a little bit because people are so afraid of just saying socialism. But you can't put those two words together. You have to take out Democrat and you just have to say socialist or communist. But he's just putting that little democratic word in front of socialism to not totally scare people away.
I think that we should all call Mamdani a communist, which is what he is. His ideas that he has freely shared with the public over the last several years are, at their very basis, Marxist, communist, straight from the Soviet Union. Control the means of production. He wants to control grocery stores. He talks about like myriad issues that evoke very government control of all things that matter to the people who he wants to govern. And to get to, like, until you mentioned Ken Griffin, and I get back to, if he is elected mayor, if CEOs of these companies don't pick up and move out of New York City, you're putting your
shareholders at risk.
Not your shareholders, the people who work in your buildings, your employees. The CEOs are sadists if they don't move out of this city
because of potential crime.
Right. Gun confiscation. That was another communist thing. That's straight from Mao.
Yeah, Jackie, it's interesting. We all we talk about lessons learned from COVID, right? Our big thing is stop buying cheap crap from China, right? That was one lesson I learned. Another lesson is how quickly and movable we all are. There are obviously businesses based in New York, but for the most part, and Kevin O'Leary has been adamant about he likes a remote-only workforce because you know what? You can get the best and brightest anywhere, and then they're not trapped in New York City. Your thoughts?
I think you're right. I think a lot of people moved, but I'm so glad that you framed it that way because the point that I wanted to make in this conversation was what I learned in COVID and other disasters in New York City, because I've lived here pretty much all my life, is how resilient New Yorkers are. I watched this city hit what I believe was a version of rock bottom and be able to build itself back up. And we're just starting to get to where we need to be. I believe people that are left here, I worry because I know a lot of the big taxpayers did leave where their money was treated better. But I still believe that most of the people here are reasonable and have some idea of what common sense is. They don't want to see crime skyrocket. They don't want to see, our housing being taken away. They don't want to see the government running grocery stores the way they're running subways because they can't even do a good job of that. So I think at the end of the day, reason will prevail. I always think of the AOC example and the squad within Congress. They're there, they're fringe. They would like to have a bigger voice and have more presence. And that's what Zohran Mamdani is trying to do. I don't think he will be able to do it here.
Brian, you're our economist. Round us out with your anchor leg.
Well, The Economist took a trip to Williamsburg yesterday.
How did that go?
Virginia?
You a hippie now?
No, in New York City. One of my favorite record shops is there. And I was walking through the neighborhoods. I saw Mamdani signs everywhere. Okay, but here's the thing. Let me just.
Rich hipsters
So
like it.
no, but here's the thing. The stores that these signs are on are like high-end stone showrooms and high-end clubs for like climbing rock walls and this sort of stuff. What these guys don't get, it's rich people who buy that stone. It's rich people who have the money to sign up for these clubs where you go climb indoor rocks. And they want Mamdani to come in and tax all these people and drive them out of the city. So I agree New Yorkers are resilient, but these hipster, white, liberal New Yorkers may be smart and maybe resilient, but they're foolish.
I think you're right.
And they're going to drive people out of this city, and they're going to drive their economic base with them.
I'm reading a book about the Mitford sisters. I digress, but one of them.
Novel.
No, it's nonfiction.
I think I read the novel version.
It's, but one of them, two of them, one was a fascist, one was an actual Nazi. And then one was a communist, Jessica Mitford, who wrote the book, The American Way of Death. So they were this, Lord Ruysdael was their father. So they glommed on to an ideology that was bent on destroying them. There's no explanation for that level and depth of moroncy.
I actually think there's an easy explanation. It is those brown, wealthy young people, primarily, who have been taught in college that socialism is moral. Socialism is right. It's you capitalists that are really angry. You're mean. You're for inequality. You're for being against the environment. I mean, young people are told in the best colleges, in the best universities, Harvard and all the rest, that socialism is moral, it's right, it's admirable, it's to be admired. So it's no surprise that Mamdani's biggest support is from these very well-to-do, highly educated people. The irony is that if they actually cared about the poor, they would support capitalism. That is the only system in history that has helped out the population, especially the poor.
It's self-loathing is what it is. And anybody who votes for this guy, I wish we could mandate they have to get their health care at city-run hospitals.
Yeah, right.
So you can get a taste of what a city-run grocery store might be like.
We all need a good history lesson about the failures of communism to get us started.